Hello. How is everyone today? I am doing fine. It has it's been a week, I guess. I was busy with finishing Pure Fiction. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it, because it took me so many tries. I probably spent like 8 hours doing this. But I finally got my 3rd star. So with a pretty decent team, I would have to say. Like, obviously they want you to pull for the new character, because Maide would have been great for this Pure Fiction, but I don't want Maide, and the Herda was gonna be good, but I wasn't able to get her in time, so I had to work with what I had. Been shiny hunting the Weedle line. I'm almost done. I just need one more. I decided I'll just go in National Dex order. Unless there's like an event with high shiny odds, I'll probably just keep going in order. So. Oh. But I never finished Let's Go. I just stole my brother's account, because he's finished it but never got the shiny charm either. But at least he has money and stuff, so once I finish the Weedle line, we'll just transfer in the rest of the Pokemon he needs to get the shiny charm. I think he's missing a decent amount, actually. I think like 40. So, not great, but whatever. What else? Oh, Reaper was recommended another Dark Otome game. The demo's out for it too. I don't know if we're gonna play it with these sets of demos. I might just start stockpiling demos up again. Or I might play it off stream. We'll see. But I have heard good things about Touchstarved. I don't know how dark it gets though. I think you can die and stuff, or we kill the love interest, which I mean is dark, but like it's not like Will was. Will was pretty dark. But if we don't add the demo Reaper recommended, then we're just playing this one and this one and Valerie the Knot of Candles. And then we'll go back to playing Cinderella Phenomenon. Because I kind of want to get back into it and work on Fritz's story. There was something else I wanted to... Oh, I have been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to say I have like 100 episodes left. I am so close to getting done with it. Would I recommend Yu-Gi-Oh? Absolutely not. But if you watched it as a kid or whatever and never finished it, I would totally go watch it. Like, it has some good moments to it. Not like it has a story at least. Is it a good story? Debatable, but there's a story at least. I think that's all I needed to update everyone on. Yeah, I think that was it. So we'll jump in. Okay. There's the audio for you guys. Before we move, look how cool this background is. It has to go through it again, but oh, it has disclaimers. Cool. So it must be a pretty dark game. Oh, it has copyright music. Okay. Okay, content warning. Touchstarved is intended for adult audience. It contains mature contents that includes but is not limited to horrific violence, strong language, alcohol and drug references, injury, and dismemberment. So it is closer to like Will than I was expecting. If you accept these warnings, please proceed. In Touchstarved, your choices matter. The decisions you make may result in unique dialogue, interactions, or even choices in red text which contain exclusive content. Try playing through the demo more than once and choose different options. You may even uncover a secret ending. And remember, there is no wrong choice, only interesting ones. Choose wisely and save often. I like that. There's no wrong choices, only interesting ones. Left click is proceed. Mouse wheel rewinds text. Oh, or change it. Oop. Oh, okay, cool. Changes text. Spacebar hides the UI. Press spacebar again to bring it back. Oh, we need a name. We need a name for a cursed person. we will go... We'll say Alice, because we recently played Alice Madness. Choose your pronouns. This world be... Oh, wait. We want options? They said turn off music. Because of copyright. Okay, return. This world begins to unravel long before you were born. It begins with fog, spectral mist blends from the seams where reality wore so thin it split. And from the fog emerged monsters, inhuman beings with unnatural powers. Some possessed language and intelligence, others were mindless beasts driven by little more than the desire to slaughter. As cities fell and unrest spread, humans united in their fear while monsters thrived in the chaos. And then there's you. You're not even sure you're human. You were born cursed, with hands that alter the minds of anyone you touch. Choose your backstory. Okay, the unnamed, a fallen oracle. You were raised as an oracle in a remote temple. The priests claim your touch bestowed enlightenment, but a visiting mage revealed your curse for what it is. Following the mage's words, you fled in search of the Cenobrium. You regularly experience unnatural unnatural premonitions that rattle your body and soul. An innate sixth sense gives you a heightened awareness of hidden supernatural presence around you. The Hound, a forsaken thief. You were raised by society's outcasts, criminals who accepted you when nobody else would. Your partner in crime, a friend since childhood, helped you steal enough money for a cure, then betrayed you. They left you with only enough coin to travel to the Cenobrium, your last hope. You have sharply honed social intuition. You can survive and even thrive in the violent underbelly of any city using your experience with the underworld to get ahead. The Alchemist, an abandoned mage. An exiled Cenobrium mage took you in as a child, raised you as her apprentice. She seems to take pity on your curse, but you discover that she was cultivating you as a test subject. You fled to the Cenobrium seeking a cure. You are an experienced spellcaster with encyclopedia knowledge of alchemy, spellcast, and history. With a little observation, you can identify the subtle effects of magic. I mean, out of the three of them, I kind of want to go with the Fallen Oracle. I think that's what we'll go with, Fallen Oracle. Your name is Alice. You selected they, them pronouns. Your backstory is the unnamed. Is this correct? Yes. What is this? Is this a cloud? I would hope it's not the sky. I don't know what that is, but I do like the city over here. The wasteland stretches as far as the eye can see. There's nothing out here but death, the ever-present stretch of decay, and countless sun-bleached bones cast like seeds across the barren land. I can say death doesn't scare me, but to tell the truth, I'm desperate. It's been 2 weeks since I've joined the caravan bound across the wastes. Finding a group that would accept me was a trial in itself. As rations grew sparse and my canteen ran dry, I began to despair, but then I saw it. Oh, there were clouds. It's a weird looking cloud, and that's the sky. Okay. Eldria, the city of knowledge, one of the last bestowings of humanity left in the world, and home to the famous academy called the Cenobrium. All the world's knowledge gathered in one place. If there's anything, anywhere, I'll find a cure for my curse. It's there. All that stands between me and the cure is a final stretch of salt-soaked wastes, or so I think, until I see the first tendril of fog sneaking beneath the wagon. Is this fog fall? My stomach sinks at the very whisper of it. A silent storm more devastating than fire. Dangerous in cities, but a death sentence beyond them. A thick blanket of fog engulfs us, smothering at the lantern's light. The wagon lurches to a stop. An eerie silence hangs. Eerie silence, heavy in the mist, falls over us. The only warning we get is a strangled scream. Stay back! No! The cry dissolves into wet gurgling. Then the wagon violently pitches to the side. I hit the ground hard and the air punched from my lungs. When I open my eyes, adrenaline lends sudden, awful clarity to the carnage around me. A traitor I once shared bread with lies face down in the mud, their back reduced to long strings of torn muscle, gleaming, gristly, and exposed bone. Bodies litter the wasteland. That's a creepy creature. I try to rise, but my ankle explodes with pain so blinding. White blooms across my vision. Only when my eyes adjust do I see the dark shape in front of me. What are you? A soulless stoops over the twisted form of a caravaner. I freeze, but it swivels its head. A dozen bulging eyes twitch in my direction and blink as one. Why does it have an eye like so far down? I kind of wish it had more eyes on its face too. The soulless lets out an ear-piercing scream and runs at me. It can scream with giant tentacles coming out of its face. But right before it reaches me, the beast barrels past, vanishing into the mist. Distantly, a horse screams in the dark. I need to move now. Okay. Oh, you get almost 100 saves. Okay. That's not too bad. Do we run to the city or head towards the wagon? We didn't say we were too close to the city, so let's head to the wagon and take cover. I take cover beside the wagon where the air is thick with greasy smoke. Fire eats through the gasping hull, spluttering where lantern oil mixes with brackish waters. Every person I see is dead or dying except one. O Almighty, forgive our sins. Guide us onto your hearth. We are worthy, we are worthy. A traveler grovels by the flames, their hands clasp above their head in fervent prayer. I glance upwards towards the grisly lights of Iridia, just visible where the fog runs thinnest. I don't pray, not anymore, but the sight of the city is all the reminder I need. I came too far to die here. Rapid footsteps echo all around me. I turn in circles, frantically searching the mist for the source, but the fog fall twists and stretched sounds. Suddenly, the caravan driver bursts forth from the fog. Our eyes meet too late. He slams into me, knocking me to the... Where did he come from? We just said that everyone was dying except me and this random person who is praying. So not everyone is dead. He slams into me, knocks me to the ground, and slips in a patch of mud. The soulless falls on him as soon as he slows. It catches the driver by his throat and rakes his stomach with razor-sharp claws. He comes apart like wet paper, spilling intestines and viscera in a streaming tide. Fighting the urge to heave, I claw frantically through the slippery muck for a handhold. My hand catches on the jagged edge of a rib jutting out from the water. Bandages unfurl around the gorge, torn deep into my palm. What? Bandages unfurl around the gorge, torn deep into my palm? Why are we wearing bandages? The pain quickly forgotten when my hand when a hand closes around my wrist. Can you stand? Is this the... Oh, there we go. That is the praying traveler. Oh, because we're cursed. Duh. We can't... If we touch anyone... Okay. I thought we were gonna wear, like, gloves or something, not bandages. And look at our hand. You think that means, like, we weren't cursed? Okay. The praying traveler leans over me. We need to run. The traveler reaches for my hand, and I realize too late that my bandages have come undone. No, don't touch me. The sensation of their thumb brushing the back of my hand sends a shiver down my spine. All it takes is one touch, and in the space of a breath, my curse takes hold. Their lips peel back into a deranged grin. No, I've seen this face countless times before. This is my curse. Madness of my own making. Their grip on my hand tightens until pain radiates from my knuckles. He's not even touching my hand anymore. He's choking me. Suddenly, clammy hands crush my throat, choking off my breath. Die, 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 die. Spit bubbles at the corners of my mouth and flake my face. The edges of my vision darken as my lungs scream for air. Well, there's no one to scream for, so fight them off. My nails gorge deep into the traveler's wrists, but no matter how much blood I draw, they don't flinch. The more I struggle, the tighter the grip grows. My pulse hammers. Oh, we probably should have screamed so the monster comes and eats him. Well, now I'm dying. Now that I know what the answer should have been. My pulse hammers in my ears, slowing with each thudding beat. This can't be happening. I'm going to die, and not because of the fog fall or the soulless, but because of my own curse. Tears sting my eyes. No, not here, not like this. The hands drop from my neck, leaving me wheezing for air. My lungs burn with each ragged cough. My vision clears and the traveler's face takes shape, hovering inches from mine, lips still split in that smile, even as blood seeps between their teeth. They gave me one last shuddering breath, then slept over the claws hooked through their stomach. The soulless shoves the body aside, and the glowing eyes studying its leathery skin thin as though grinning. What? The soulless shoves the body aside, and the glowing eyes studying its leathery skin thins as though grinning. Okay, so it's squinting. That's a weird way to say that. There's a flash of claws. Red spills across my vision. I thought there'd be pain, but as I sink into the murky waters, all I can feel is the grit of silt filling my mouth and the icy embrace of shallow water. Distantly, I notice an arm resting among an outcrop of reeds, mine nearly severed at the elbow. It should have taken both arms. Without them, maybe I could have survived. Maybe I could have had a home. Instead, I'll die cold, alone, and face down in a desolate wasteland. A fitting ending for a monstrosity like me. If this is death, it's not as bad as I feared. The cold is gone, as is the choking stench of bog water. I could drift forever, cocooned in oblivion, until all thoughts and sensation vanished. No curse, nobody howling at me in madness and terror, nothing at all. The thought has a terrible appeal to it. But the next moment, I take a reflective breath. Air pours into my lungs, and then out again in a ragged gasp. I haven't mentioned this yet, but I do like how they design the text box. Feeling comes flooding back, a warm cloth on my bare skin, a firm surface underneath me, a strange tinge of sulfur in the air. Do not be afraid. I twist my head towards the voice. Tears flood my blurry vision as the bright glow of lamplight. At the bright glow of lamplight. Try not to move. The voice is calm, steady, and commanding, but more importantly, it's a stranger's voice. One thought cut through my mental fog. I have no idea who this is, and I'm completely at their mercy. Yes, but it's better than being dead in the wastelands. Stay away from me. My words come out in little more than a cracky whisper. I clasp my mouth shut, hating how weak and hopeless I sound. No. No. Who is this? I would like to know who this dude is. We're sitting. What do you mean, sit up or lie back down? Are we just halfway up? We're sitting up. I managed to push myself up on one elbow, but my head swims and my surrounding gives an alarming lurch. Ah, stubborn patient. I don't have the strength to dignify that with a response. Instead, I pull the sheets up higher and wipe my eyes until my vision clears. The stranger towers over my prone form. Warm light reflects off his pristine medical coat. I instinctively shrink back, and that's when I notice that I'm completely naked except for a thin linen sheet. Naked, lying on a low cot with a pair of sharp golden eyes watching my every move. The man's gaze flickers to my exposed, unbandaged hands. Hands? I thought one of my arms got ripped off. I plunge my hands under the sheet to hide them from sight. Though it's too late, he must have noticed what they look like. Strange, cursed, inhuman. I brace myself for his inevitable suspicion and disgust, but his expression doesn't even flicker from that courteous smile. He just watches in placid silence as I struggle to make sense of my surroundings. Where am I? Who are you? Be calm. You are safe here. That didn't answer either of my questions. I hate when doctors do that. Or in stories, like, that does not calm me at all. Just answer my questions. Whoever this is, he clearly has no idea who or what I am. I've never been safe anywhere with anyone. Even the shrine of my childhood, the one sanctuary I ever knew, turned out to be a horrific lie. I scowl, pulling the sheets protectively around myself. Where are my clothes? The man's golden eyes narrow slightly. A sharp sigh rustles the papers in his hands. I see you are not to be dissuaded. Your clothes were torn to shreds when I found you, but I procured replacements. This is it looks more like a kitchen than it does a hospital. With a soft creak, he stands from his chair, giving me a better view of my surroundings. I seem to be in some sort of medical clinic. Bottles of silvery alchemy concoctions line the counters in neat rows. The air makes my nose twitch, a faint whiff of smoke and something distinctively metallic that I can't quite place. The doctor procures a large dense bundle of cloth, which he sets at the foot of my cot. He's easily a head taller than most, and I have to crane my neck to look at him. He's easily a head taller than most, so he's like 7 foot? Or is everyone just short and he's like 6'5" or whatever? I keep clicking the right button trying to save that way. That's how you save in Cinderella Phenomena. He's probably gonna watch me anyway, so we'll just thank you. I should be polite if I can, especially since I don't know who this is and what he can do or what he wants with me. Meeting his gaze sends a hot frisson down my spine. Something about him nags at me, like a half-formed memory I can't place. Thank you. You are welcome. I will leave you to get dressed. With a curt nod, he leaves through the narrow door. I hear a soft click as the lock turns behind him. Oh, we're locked in. I mean, why would you lock me in the room with all the medical stuff? That also screams like a stupid idea. I count to 3 in the sudden silence. When I can't hear any more footsteps, I reach for the bundle of clothes. An itch at my elbow stops me short. I reach down absently to rub at it, then freeze when my fingers meet a neat line of stitches. I knew what I saw. That beast took my arm clean off, and yet my arm shows no sign of injury apart from the black stitches poking through my skin. I gingerly flex my fingers, feeling my heart race at the sensation. This is impossible. I should be dead, or at the very least gasping out my last breaths. So he sewed her arm back on. Is he a necromancer? I actually do not know the love interests. I think one's a plague doctor, one's a devil, I think. But I don't actually know entirely who what everyone is. I squeeze my eyes shut, waiting for the pleasant dream to unravel, to wake up bleeding in the swamp, but nothing happens. The seconds tick by, and my arm remains absolutely healed, my surroundings pristine and quiet. In numb disbelief, I reach for the replacement clothes and begin stiffly pulling them on. They're thicker and warmer than mine were, with a black woolen cloak to go over them. But there's one thing missing, my bandages. The golden eye man didn't leave me any, even though I knew he saw my hands. I slide off the bed and take a few unsteady steps towards one of the drawers. If this is indeed a doctor's clinic, there must be bandages somewhere. I start opening drawers at random, and in course, that's when the door swings open once more. Are you looking for something? I whirl around, clutching a thick roll of clean bandages. I try to step back from him, but my legs bump up against the edge of the cot. Your car... God. Your caution is understandable, though if I meant you any harm, you would know. That doesn't make me feel better in the slightest, but he makes no move towards me, so I quickly wind the bandages around my hands. The glowing scars and molted skin disappear under a layer of clean white cotton. May I ask why you need additional bandages? I clenched my jaw. I knew it would only be a matter of time before he asked about my hands, though the way he does is strangely roundabout. It is kind of odd that only our hands are seeming to be cursed. I was under the impression any part of our body would be cursed. Or, I guess our whole body. I don't think our whole body could be cursed. Or at least look like what our hands look like. What do we want? Say nothing, glare at him, decline to answer. Probably say nothing. There's no answer I could give without raising an unwelcome suspicion, so I just shake my head and finish tying the bandages in silence. I can only help if you tell me what ails you. An involuntary snort of laughter escapes me. Where would I even begin? Would he even believe me if I told him? No, best to keep my curse to myself for now and learn more about him first. But he healed us. So either he wore gloves and that doesn't activate the curse, or he's immune to it when he stitched our arm back on. Who are you? You can call me Chris? And where am I? Iridia, where I assumed was your caravan's destination. I can think of nowhere else for a group of travelers to go. Iridia, so I made it to the City of Knowledge after all. I should feel relieved, but all I can manage is a vague sense of increasing unease. How did I end up here? I brought you to my clinic, of course. You were the only survivor of the caravan, barely clinging to life. You needed immediate treatment, which you provided. Yes. He says it so simply, as if I'm a small child, and he's explaining basic addiction to me. Basic addition to me. I frown and flex the fingers on my recently healed arm. Aside from being a bit stiff, it feels fine, thoroughly attached to me. You're saying that you stitched my arm back on? Pardon? A soulless attacked the caravan. It ripped everyone to shreds. It tore my arm clean off. But when I woke up here, I trailed off, bewildered. I've never heard of any magic that can heal a mortal's wound like that. What kind of person could do such a thing? The doctor, Chris, pinched the bridge of his nose. He sits down in his chair, quiet for a long time. I do not know where you come from, but Iridia is the city of knowledge and deadly secrets alike. Information is powerful, and it is most unwise to give or receive it freely. Since you have refused to indulge your secrets, I will not indulge mine. I do not even know your name. You are new to Iridia, so I will overlook the specific breach of etiquette. However, you should not expect others to extend the same courtesy. Do you understand? He looks pointedly at my freshly bandaged hands. Loath though I am to admit it, he has a point. I am also a complete stranger to him, and if he's telling the truth, he saved my life. I take a deep, steadying breath. This time, when I speak, I sound a bit more like myself. Alice. My name is Alice. It's a pleasure to meet you, Alice. There's a little more warmth in his smile. His polite demeanor back in an instant. I kind of want to know why you saved me, but first we have to thank you. Thank you for saving my life. I chance a smile in return, even if he won't explain how he did the impossible. There's no doubt in my mind that I'd be dead if not for Chris. Think nothing of it. I'm not sure if he's just excessively courteous, but his words only raise more urgent questions. But I have to ask, why did you save me? You don't even know me. The question seems to startle Chris. I could hardly leave you to die in the wastes. But why were you even in the wastes to begin with to even find me? Assisting those in need is the very essence of a doctor's duty. I've never met a doctor who also handed out free clothes. My fingers find the edge of the cloak. There's a subtle but delicately embroidered pattern around the hem. I try not to think about what kind of price Chris might ask for such well-made clothes. No, I suppose not. Forgive my presumption. I rarely come across so fascinating a patient. I blink. What did he just say? I simply meant that few would cling to life so resolutely or brave such a restless journey to Iridia. I could not help being curious about you, Alice. His voice dips to a soft murmur, and he abruptly looks away from me. You're pretty curious yourself? I don't know what to say to that. I mean, you are pretty curious yourself. Am I? Well, I haven't forgotten about my arm. I wiggle my intact fingers at him. Clearly not. But you haven't asked me for any payment either. I require none from you. Travelers do not have an abundance of coin, and it would be unethical to leave you I don't know that word, in a strange place. I fell silent, unsure what to say. Nobody would help a horror like me for free. There has to be some kind of catch or trick, right? A loud knock at the front door stops our conversation cold and spares me from having to say anything else. Duty calls. Unfortunately, you're not my only patient today. The knock grows more insistent, and Chris lets out a tired sigh. Please wait your turn. Though he says it quietly, the clamor on the other side of the door abruptly stops. Do you need anything before you leave, Alice? Oh. Between the soulless attack and my miraculous survival, I've almost forgotten why I came to Iridia in the first place. I need directions to the cenobrium. The cenobrium. The look on his face is downright chilling. He pauses, choosing his words with cold deliberation when he speaks again. Whatever you seek, it is very unlikely you will find it there. The cenobrium gates open for precious few visitors. Even if they did, you would not like what you find inside. My heart sinks. Is he saying that I came all this way for nothing? Risked life and limb for nothing? No, that can't be. I've only just arrived, and Iridia is the largest city still standing. There has to be a cure for me here. Then, if not the cenobrium, where would you suggest? Do you know anyone else in Iridia? I shake my head. Then I suggest a local guide. Head to the wet wick and ask for lender. Excuse me, the wet what? The wet wick. He sounds deeply unamused. Follow the postings advertising leaders, bloodhounds. They are difficult to miss. When you meet lender, tell him I sent you. That isn't much to go on, but Curtis points towards the clinic's back door. You will be safe so long as you do not draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done. I've always been a magnet for the worst sort of attention. If you require my assistance, you may return whenever you wish. Though he's smiling, there's a note of finality in his voice. Resigned to my dismissal, I slip out the back door. I find myself standing in a narrow and rather gloomy alley. I pull the new cloak up over my nose, stepping over the content of chamber pots that have been emptied onto the streets. Something weighs heavily inside one of the cloak's pockets, my coin purse. Everything is still inside, every last coin that I scrapped together from the journey to Iridia. It doesn't even look like it was opened. There were so few coins to begin with, they probably weren't worth stealing. I glanced back at the clinic's closed door. Curtis didn't take any payment. He didn't even ask for a future favor. But he also said that in Iridia, secrets are power. Does he expect me to give up mine at some point? That's not exactly a comforting thought, though no matter why he did it, Curtis gave me a second chance and a lead on where I can find help. I'd rather get going before he changes his mind. I squeeze out of the alley and onto the crowded main street. The line outside Curtis's clinic stretches down the road already. Two thin peddlers queue alongside withered elders. If any place is in desperate need of a free clinic, it's this one. The cobblestones are treacherously rough under my feet, deep grooves worn between them by regular floodings and decades of hard use. I knew Iridia was a river city, but I didn't expect it to look so eroded. The buildings are tired and dilapidated, all crammed together in narrow streets. I have never heard of anything called a river city like that. There's something else, a change in the air, like the shift in pressure before a storm. It's subtle, little more than a faint, persistent thrumming, but I can't seem to shake it. A child darts by, clutching something greasy wrapped in paper. The smell of fried food drifts over to me. My stomach gives a faint gurgle. This morning's catch, fried up hot and fresh. Not too many eyeballs today. That sounds disgusting, but I'm starving, so I duck my head under the stall's grubby awning. A large fish leers up at me, its three bulging eyes still visible through the thick layer of crisp batter. The vendor gives me a toothy grin. What's the cheapest thing you got? The vendor points at a metal basket of what looks like long strips of savory fried dough. Fresh long lads? 3 copper apiece. Don't burn your mouth. I take the coin out, counting them gingerly. At this rate, I might not even be able to afford dinner. Reluctantly, I drop the payment on the counter and take my meal. 2 streets later, I pass under a wrought iron archway adorned with dangling garlands of red and pink lilies. The building in this quarter are dazzling, wrought of color, painted walls and tinted glass everywhere I look. Sheer red and pink curtains flutter in open doorways. Musical voices call out invitingly. Incense mingles with the pungent smell of flowers, barely covering the salt and muck of warm bodies. This must be Iridia's entertainment district. I will be right back. I need the bathroom. Okay. I'm polishing off my food and dusting the crumbs off dusting the crumbs from my hands when I spot a poster. It features the silhouette of a smiling man wearing a dagger-like earring, and the words "Bloodhounds" painted above his head. A motto, "As above, so below," circles the artwork. If Lender is the leader of the Bloodhounds, then the face printed on the poster is likely his. I followed the line of identical posters around a corner and nearly hit my head on a curiously dangling wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters read, "The Wet Wick." The facade of the building looks like it's seen better days, but I hear faint music and laughter coming from inside. The inside of the bar is a far cry from the abandoned exterior. It's not even midday, yet most of the tables and booths are occupied by a loose assembly of people in matching green cloaks. Bustling bars are not something I'm used to, but I steel myself with a deep breath before pushing forward. A curious glance doesn't turn up anyone with a dagger-shaped earring. I'm about to head towards the counter when a chant rises from the center of the room. "Show, show, show." The remaining green cloaks abandon the bar and their booths to rush towards the center of the room in a sudden torrent. There's no time to move out of the way. I'm swept along in the ale-stenched current. Hey! Rhythmic chanting drowns out my voice. I thrash, throwing out my elbows as the press of bodies grow heavier. My hip knocks into a table. I grip it, holding on tight to steady myself, but the crowd has stilled. The chanting stopped. A pair of gilded boots stride across the tabletops. "Seriously, you dogs, again?" Scattered laughter and cheers rise from the audience. I drag my eyes upwards. A well-dressed man stands on the table in front of me, his broad shoulders framed by the thick lapels of a trench coat. This really is the last time, all right? This time when he speaks, the audience falls silent, as though bewitched by his magnetic presence or rich, low voice. But nothing is as captivating as his smile. He beams at the crowd around him, a performer on his makeshift stage. Don't blink or you'll miss it. He laughs, and the dagger-shaped earring dangling from his left ear catches the light and a flash of gold. It seems I've found Lender. He raises his hand above the audience and snaps. A flash of pale green light. Real magic. No ordinary stage trick blinds me. As the brilliance ebbs, my gaze refocuses on the mage towering above me. He flicks his wrist and the magic spiraling around him coalesces. A delicate flower stem sprouts from between his pinched fingers. One by one, the glowing lily petals spring forth. With a flourish, the mage presents the conjured flowers. The audience burst into clapping and cheers. A genuine magic show was the last thing I expected from a place called the Wet Wick. Lunder plucks the iridescent bouquet out of air and turns in a slow circle, giving his audience a good look. Now, who could use some good luck? Eager onlookers scoot closer to the table. Some reach for the lilies while others whistle and call Lunder's name. But his cool green eyes slide right over them, locking on me instead. How about you? My chest tightens. Every person gathered turns to stare at me. Obviously, we're gonna take the flowers. Yeah, I think we're gonna take the flowers. I reach out, all too aware of the way my fingers tremble as I carefully take the flowers from him. There's no weight to them, only a faint warmth that radiates from the stems. As soon as the flowers leave Lunder's hand, their light dims. They fade away in a show of opulent light. To my surprise, Lunder laughs under his breath. That's the problem with flowers. They don't last long, but they leave an impression, right? He grins at me, and I find myself smiling back. I do really enjoy the different art style between the background. Oops, I didn't read that. The background and the characters themselves. Like, they really pop out from the background. Lunder steps off the table, dropping among the excited crowd with an audible click. All right, bloodhounds, get back to your drink. Show's over. The green cloaks disperse at his command, returning to their tables and booths. Before I can make my way towards Lunder, his eyes find me. He gives me a friendly wave, and then beckons me over to the crowded counter. I manage to squeeze beside him, but there's so little room that his broad shoulders press against mine. I tense, but he doesn't seem to mind it at all. Is this your first time in Iridia? He says it lightly, with a genuine air of curiosity. Do I stick out that much? No, but I'm certain I remember seeing a face as lovely as yours around Lowtown. My eyes flicker to the polished countertop. I'm not used to flattery, and being this close, making eye contact's difficult. As if on cue, the bartender approaches us. What can I get you? Surprise me and add something my friend wants to my tab. I wasn't expecting the generosity, but I have to admit, I do feel a little thirsty after all that fried dough. Alcohol is not a good drink to quench thirst, so water's fine. While the bartender leaves to fix our drinks, Lunder leans his elbows on the counter. I'm close enough to notice the purple shadows under his lower lids. His eyes wander over me in return, but when they lock on my bandaged hands, a sour taste rises in my throat. Here comes the questions. So, what brings you to the Wick? Curris sent me. He pushes his hair back from his forehead, but it immediately falls back into place. So, it's about work. The bartender pushes a pair of glasses our way. I didn't realize how thirsty I am until the cool water touches my lips. I drain the water in a single gulp. Lunder takes a deep swig of his beer and lets out a satisfied breath. How can I be of assistance? I need to get to the Cenobrium. As soon as I say the word Cenobrium leaves my mouth, the entire bar falls silent. Bloodhounds twist around in their seat to gawk openly, finally, and especially drunk one speaks up. You bring up the Cenobrium in here. Through her mouth, this is bloodhound territory. Give me a sec. Is the plant in your way, little one? There. There you go. Okay. It's actually a warm day today, so the window can get open for the cat. He also had the issue with one of the plants in the way of the window, and he was kind of upset with it. Close the door so it doesn't keep doing that. The troll catches me off guard. From the angry looks thrown my way, it's clear I've broken some unspoken rule just by mentioning the Cenobrium. When I glance at Lunder, he's drinking, as though he hadn't noticed the uproar. Only when he catches me looking does he lower his glass. For the love of... He drags a hand down his face. Hey, keep it down, will you? This is business. I tense, expecting an argument, but the outspoken bloodhounds silently return to their drinks. Only a handful continue to watch me wearily. Sorry about that. Sorry about them. The Cenobrium's a bit of a touchy subject in these parts. Mix in enough drinks and, well, you saw. How about we continue this outside? When I give him a terse nod, he pushes away from the bar counter. I follow Lunder to an alleyway tucked behind the wet wick where layers of frayed bloodhound posters have been plastered to the walls. Seeing them side by side, the resemblance between Lunder and his likeness on the posters is impressive. Curus didn't send you here for help with the Cenobrium, did he? From the look he gives me, he already knows the answer. I glance away. No, he didn't. He suggested I find an alternative, yet here you are, asking about them anyway. What do you need the Cenobrium for? I didn't want to tell him about my curse. The less people know about my capabilities, the better. Thankfully, Lunder takes my reluctant silence as an answer. Well, I see you're already aware of the city's currency. Information's worth its weight in gold here. Curse told you the truth. The Cenobrium's dangerous. Get on their bad side and they'll imprison you if you're lucky, or torture you if you're not. But the Cenobrium's supposed to be a place of learning, a sanctuary. The Cenobrium has always been heralded as the last bastion of human knowledge, a shining beacon of hope in a world steeped in nightmares. Which just answered your question right there. If the city's run on knowledge as their currency, and this school, or whatever you want to call it, is the only place that has all of the knowledge left, of course it's going to be like you trying to break into a bank. It's not happening. They want to protect it as much as possible. If any place held answers, it would be the Cenobrium. That's why I came here. That's what they want you to think, but things that seem too good to be true are often just that. Such a simple statement, and yet it leaves me reeling. If that's true, if I stacked everything on a lie, then what now? Lender clears his throat. But as I always say, there's solutions to every problem, and alternatives to every solution. He clasps his hands and turns to me with a brilliant smile. That's why Curtis pointed you to the bloodhounds. Let us help you, whether it's hunting soulless, finding people, or recovering stolen valuables. We can do it all, and free of charge. I shake my head before he even finishes his practice speech. My patience is wearing dangerously thin. Listen, I appreciate the offer, but my problem can't be solved by a group of good Samaritans. I don't think they're good Samaritans. They're running a business here. To my chagrin, Lender nods slowly. Then your problem must be fairly serious, and if the Cenobrium's your first choice, you're searching for a magical solution, aren't you? When my eyes widen, he nods along, as though he's suspected all along. I'd be happy to help you out, that is, if you'll tell me what ails you. Lender might not work for the Cenobrium, but he is a mage, and a powerful one at that if his demonstration earlier is any indication. I'm silent, plagued with indecision. I don't know if I can trust him, but it's not like I have any alternatives. I hate to admit it, but this could be my only path forward. My confession comes out in a pained whisper. I'm cursed. Cursed? Oh, now I'm very curious. What kind of curse? Something essential or more recent? He looks me up and down, taking in my face, my eyes, and finally my hands. It's your hands, isn't it? I wait until I'm certain my voice can remain steady before answering. My touch is dangerous. It changes people, hurts them. Before I even finish, Lender takes his glove off, tugs his left hand free, and flexes his fingers. Let's see it. He offers me his hand, and a prismatic flash of magic ripples across his palm. I'm already shrinking backwards. I can't. I don't care how confident Lender is. I can't bring myself to hurt him, to see his kind face twist into a mask of madness. Believe me, this isn't an ordinary curse. I'll be fine. Perhaps where you come from. Your affliction was strange and one of a kind. But spend a year in the city, you'll see 1,000 curses and thrice as many curses. What? And thrice as many cures. Do you really think Curtis would send you here if I couldn't handle it? How should I know? I only met him today. That's a good answer. I don't know him. I'm as good as any mage in the Cenobrium. Better even. If they can help, so can I. You don't know what you're asking me. I'm asking you to trust me. I look from Lender's outstretched hand to his confident smile. Then, with a short breath, I begin unwinding the bandages from my hand. Fine, but if you lose control, don't say I didn't warn you. You can tie me up first if it makes you feel better. With each joint I expose, I grow more and more certain this is a terrible idea. Ready when you are. If he's bothered by the way my hands look, he doesn't show it. Cat. It doesn't bother to show it. My fingers hover shakily over his palm. 3, 2, 1. I just closed this door. Yeah, you. It's either in the room or out. You don't get the door open. Guess you're staying out there. And he'll just want in again. Obviously we're gonna touch him. I tap his palm once, as quickly as possible. It's barely more than a brush, but that's all it ever takes. When I look at his face, expecting to see the worst, Lunder only grins. See? It can't be. This time, when I reach out to touch Lunder's palm again, he catches my wrist before I can pull away. I told you, there's really nothing to worry about. He trails off when my thumb brushes the soft skin of his inner wrist. I see Lunder's face for traces of madness. I search Lunder's face for traces of madness, but his eyes remain a clear, soft green. Color rises to his cheeks, but he remains still except for the subtle bobbing of his throat. Neither of us speak. As I trace the contours of Lunder's palm, lost in an awareness I wasn't prepared for. I've been with other people, kissed them, even embraced. I've been with other people, kissed them, been embraced by them, and more, but not like this. My fingers, long deprived by years of bandaging, pick up every small detail, the grooves of his palm, the smooth shell of his nails, the pulse of his heart. So it is our hands that are only cursed. For as long as I lived, I've never been able to hold someone's hand, not without dire consequences. I never realized what I was missing until this moment. When Lunder's pulse is steady, mine is hammering as fear gives away to excitement. This is a very long demo. I was not expecting it to be this long. I think if we keep touching him, it's gonna be awkward. But like, we haven't been able to touch someone in a long time, so I guess we're keeping touching him. My hand glides over Lunder's wrist and up his forearm where smooth skin abruptly gives way to the rise scar by the edge of his sleeve. It matches the one that runs from his collar to his cheekbone. Could it be the same wound? I glance at Lunder's face, and his lips part as he considers his words before speaking. Am I the first person you've been able to touch like this? My hand goes still on his arm, so far. I'll admit, your touch does make it somewhat difficult to stay level-headed, but not due to your power. He takes my hand. His soft green eyes flick to mine before he turns it to inspect the golden fissures crisscrossing my knuckles. Look, we match. He points at the golden pin on his coat collar, and I give him a small smile. I draw my hand back and take a steady breath. My head feels as though it's stuffed with cotton. Habit alone guides me through the motions of rewrapping my hand, although my fingers tremble too much for the bandages to lie flat. I can't believe that worked. May I ask your name? I'm Alice. You were right to hide this from me, Alice. That curse of yours, it's unlike anything I've ever dealt with. I can tell you're discreet, but you best not go showing that off to anyone else. I didn't plan on it. Are you staying in Lowtown? I paused. Room and board was something I hadn't yet considered. I don't know. Let's get you properly settled then. The Wetwick is noticeably quieter. Without their leader, most of the bloodhounds have dispersed, and in a few cases, fallen asleep beside their drinks. Got any rooms left, or did my lot get grabbed all, or did my lot grab them all to sleep it off? The bartender, who I now realize doubles as an innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter. You know, I always keep the corner room open for your espionage. Lunder's laugh sounds slightly strained. And I always appreciate it, but you're mistaken. This is just my friend Alice. Sure. Stay as long as you like. You two have fun. Escapists, huh? Lunder clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. But I hesitate. My coin purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meals, let alone a room. How much do I owe you? Nothing. Bloodhound rates. My treat, since you shared your secret, food, drink, and warm bed, anything you need. Carefully, I take the key from him. It's small, but weighs heavily in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Iridia, let alone free meals. Thank you. Go explore, Alice. You'll find many roads in Iridia, each lending to different answers, but if you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me. Just be careful. I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it into the pocket of my cloak for safe keeping. Lunder gives me one last friendly wave before I depart. I was not expecting him to be as friendly as he was. The air clings sodden and heavy. Without the morning crowd, the sunlit streets look barren and bleak. Even the peddlers are long gone. Only a pair of crowds remain quabbling over the stale crust in a gutter. I feel a ridiculous pain of envy. At least they've got reason to fight. I've never felt so lost. Curse and Lunder both made it clear that Cenobrium can't be trusted, but I came so far, enduring so much. I need to see the Cenobrium for myself, if only to satisfy my curiosity. I should have asked someone at the bar for directions before leaving. I'm about to turn back when a shadow passes over me. A cloud, I think, until a puff of hot breath tickles the back of my neck. The shadows run down. The street in rivulets. Formless, dark spreads like ink into blotted shapes. Claws stretch. A muzzle splits open to reveal long, jagged teeth. A growl rumbles so low and deep I feel it. I want to run, to scream, but I feel trapped, as though the slightest movement or a single breath will snap the jaws around me shut. No, I won't let it end like this. If I'm going to die, I want to see what got me first. I steel myself, then turn. The shadow vanishes as quickly as it came. I'm left standing in the middle of the street, alone, except for a figure reclining in the shadow of a nearby stoop. A monster. That much is clear from a glance. One that could nearly be mistaken for human were it not for the tufted ears and tail curled around his ankle, or the dark pink eyes with pupils that sharpen like needles when they fall on me. Our eyes meet, and the monster uncrosses his long legs. His hair gleams a shade of red that reminds me unsuddenly of blood where it curls around his collared throat. Jumpy, aren't you? His tone is so light and carefree, I glance over my shoulder to make sure he's speaking to me. When I look back, the stranger props his chin on his knuckles and regards me with an inscrutable little smile. Didn't you see that shadow just now? It was massive, moved like a beast. Even as I speak, I'm aware of how ridiculous I must sound, but the stranger's smile doesn't falter. The only beasts I've seen are the Wicks drooling regulars, though this did catch my eye. God, that was... He stole my key. You're not allowed to steal my stuff from me. With a flourish of his hand, my in-room key appears dangling from his finger. It turns on its chain, glittering when it catches the light. My hand flies to my cloak pocket and, sure enough, find them flat. He crooks his finger, beckoning. I've already taken 2 steps forward before some stifled instinct stops me. Something feels wrong. I'm still on edge, thrumming with so much adrenaline that the stranger shadow flickers at the edge of my vision. I always attract the worst kind of attention, but I can't get rattled now. Who says? Both these answers are just dumb. Who says it's my key? Considering he stole it out of my pocket, obviously it's my key. And where did he find it? In my pocket. Probably we'll go with where did you find it, because who said it was my key? It's just the dumb thing to say. Yes, little one? Are you actually gonna stay in the room this time? Huh? Are you actually gonna stay in here this time? No, there's nothing out there for you. Where did you find it? The key, I mean. What can I say? I'm a sucker for shiny things. He smiles wide enough to reveal pointed canines. Boop. I saw you drop it. You really should be more careful. Cities like this. No, but somebody might take advantage. Hey, you need to stop. Stop it. Nah, fine. Go away. Come here. Yes, Murr. Murr. This is the last time I'm letting you in or out. Got it? Or walk away from the door this time. That's fine too. Go play with your paper. Yeah, you can play with it. A bold-faced lie said, without a hint of irony, there's no way I dropped that key, but I can't think of an explanation of how it went from my pocket to his hand. Yeah, absolutely no way it could have gotten in his hand. He didn't just steal it out of her pocket, you know. I approached the man, careful to keep an arm's length away. He doesn't look dangerous, but the most dangerous ones never do. The stranger's chain softly clicks with the tilt of his head. His ear flicks. Keeping your distance? I'd be stupid to trust you. You think I stole your dainty little key from all the way over here? He gives an exasperated sigh. I'm good with my hands, but not that good. Do I really look like a common thief to you? I mean, maybe not common, but you definitely look like a thief. He's got me there. The sheer fabric of his sleeves alone would be too expensive for most street thieves. His shoes look like they cost more than I spent traveling here. And then there's the shop behind him, no matter the city. Parted pink curtains only ever mean one thing. I'm not looking to buy, and I doubt I could afford your services anyway. Who said you could scratch that? Hey. Scratch your scratching post. Yeah. There's a scratching post for a reason. Yeah, yes. Doing things you shouldn't be. Doing things you shouldn't be. Lucky for you, I don't charge. Well then. The man runs the tip of his tongue over... You're not coming back in. Cats. Cats. You think they would learn? They do. They learn to be little pains. The man runs the tip of his tongue over a thing, and for the first time since I stepped into that shadow, I feel something other than dread. My face grows hot. That's not what I meant. I'm flattered, really. Were sex my trade, I might make an exception for you. How about half off for a handy? Or you could just hand over my key. That too. Ask nicely, and I might even let you tug my tail. Just throw it here. So, some spindly little sea urchin can catch it and run? He raises my key and tilts his head so he can watch it dangle back and forth. I suppose I could just claim your room for myself. Not that I'd be caught dead slumming in the wick with the rest of those slack-jawed imbeciles. You're obviously not from around here, so tell me, traveler, what misfortune brought you to this wretched place? His voice drastically dips with diversion. I'm not telling you anything. What could have possibly drawn you to this dreary little pig pen? I wonder. He listlessly watches the arc of my key swings around my finger. Cat! Stop! God. Fine. No. No. Why do you always do this, by the way? You always do this. Here, we'll do this. Come here. Okay. Sit on the floor with him and try to pet him while we play. The weather is terrible, the food's dreck, and there's entirely too many monsters for a human to feel safe unless dagger-shaped eyes flick towards me. They gleam with amusement, unless you're just dying to consort with monsters. By now, my embarrassment has worn away, blending shimmering impatience in its place. If this is a shakedown, it's the most frustrating one I've heard of. I kind of like him, though. Please stop walking around me so I can pet you. Should we turn him down or flirt back? I kind of actually like you, so we'll flirt back. How do you know that I spent all my money, starved, and nearly died in a swamp so I could just crawl into bed with the first thirsty monster I saw? That earns me a burst of breathy laughter. He gazes at me under his dark lashes. Aren't you funny? Could you be any more obvious? I've been told subtlety's not my strength. So your place or mine? I'd invite you if I had my key. Which one, little one? I'd invite you if I had my key, or I'll pass. Probably. I'll invite you if I had my key. Hopefully we get our key back. If only I had my key, then I might be able to invite you up. His lunger gaze glides from me to the key in his hand and back. Come, take my hand and we'll go together. The more he flirts, the more I'm convinced I became the more he flirts, the more convinced I become that this is some kind of trap. No matter how innocent monsters look, they always have tricks up their sleeves, and something tells me that this one's more dangerous than he lets on, even if he has a lovely laugh. I don't know what you want or why you're messing with me, but I'm not coming any closer until I know you're not going to attack or bite. I won't bite hard unless you beg me. No matter what I say, he finds a way to twist my words into innuendos. Even when I'm silent, he goes on as though we're having a conversation, not a standoff. Do you like dancing? There's a traveling troupe performing in Hightown tonight. Their lutist is utterly exquisite, truly a performance to die for. There's life in this dreadful place, if you know where to look. You sound like you know the city well. The man's gaze flickers from me to the key dangling from his finger. Naturally, this stump was little more than a miserable little smear when I first arrived. Hightown, Lowtown, I know Iridia like the back of my hand. What about the Cenobrium? Do you know where that is? His smile vanishes. Surely you've seen it, that absurdly large tower looming over the rest. It's a little hard to miss. He must mean the spire I noticed when I first caught sight of Iridia. The Cenobrium's overrated. Forget about it. I can show you things those stuffy bones in their elliptic tower couldn't even dream of. I've already got plans. Oh, have you some pressing matters in the Cenobrium? Lunch dates with the librarians, tea times with the most esteemed abbess? That's my business. What's the matter to you? I square my shoulders, and the amusement bleeds out of him. Your loss. The stranger, finally bored of his tedious game, extends his hand towards me. The key rests on his palm, neatly dividing skin and leather. When he makes no other move, I reach for the key. But as soon as my fingers gaze smooth brass, his hand springs shut around my elbow. Hey. He yanks me down, and I stagger, my soul slipping on the steps. For a sick moment, I fear my bandages will unravel under his touch, but he's careful not to disturb them, even as his fingers dig into my arm. I knew I smelled blood. You reek of death in the road. And that doctor. His voice, once silken, lowers to a smoky growl. The shadows around him seethe and boil as he pulls me closer, and something else. He murmurs against my throat, nose grazing my jaw. Let go! I try to twist away, but he doesn't budge. His breath travels down my neck, sending a thrill of dread through me, but just when I fear he'll bite, he takes a deep whiff instead. His wide, flat eyes gleam with naked hunger as he gazes up at me. Not quite human, not quite monster. Seems we're both I think. Veer? The stranger's ears flatten, and he releases me with a short breath. I yank my arm back, massaging where his grip left grooves in the bandages. The stranger twists around to watch a woman duck out from the curtains behind him. Her pressed uniform marks her as a cleric of the Cenobrium. I leave you all for what, 10 minutes and you're making trouble again? Will you quit harassing the tourists? The stranger. I'm gonna say Ver. I take it. Rolls his eyes and flashes the cleric a withering smile. So suspicious. Can't you see this is a friend of mine? A natural liar. He grins at me, his tail swishing minutely. The woman purses her lips at me, clearly unconvinced. I open my mouth to correct him, but Ver cuts in. I was generously offering my dear friend some free advice. Though his voice remains light and cheerful, his expression darkens. Dangers drawn to you like a moth to flame. It will always find you given time. The woman clucks her tongue as though she's heard this reticle 102 times. 102 times, not just exactly 100 times. Word of advice: don't take free advice from lazy foxes lounging in the streets. This crick would sell water to a drowning man for the sheer enjoyment of it. She shrugs off wilting look from Ver. Oh, please, any friend of yours knows it's true. Now hold still. Ver raises gracefully at her approach. He pushes his hair aside so it drapes over one shoulder, exposing the long lines of his neck. And suddenly, it dawns on me that the jingling I heard earlier wasn't coming from the harness attached to his collar, but a leash. And a heavy iron chain wound around a hitched post and padlock to the back of his collar. Verg posed deliberately to hide the leash from me. The woman procures a key ring from her pocket. She rifles through a dozen identical keys before selecting one and slotting it into the lock. Come on. Unless your friends tagging along are on our merry little soulless hunt. They're hunting for soulless inside the city. Words momentarily fail me. The woman regards me with a polite, if tight smile before marching down the streets. Verg lingers. He stretches his arms over his head with a yawn, and I try not to stare at the way his stomach flattens when he arches his back. Your little secret's safe with me. Try not to get yourself killed, Verg hops off the stoop and bounds after the woman, his tail swaying merrily, as though he hadn't just lied and threatened me. Did you try that thing I mentioned? The Levention knot? That the one where you take 3 fingers and actually don't tell me. Knowing you, it's disgusting. Verg's airy laughter echoes down the street. It's only after he and the cleric have vanished from sight that I realize I'm still missing something. Wait. Reflectively, I shove my hands into my pocket and find it, the room key. I pull it out of my pocket and raise it to the light just to be sure. A nagging feeling distracts from my relief. I don't know what Verg's game was or what he wanted from me. All I know for certain is that Zenobrium saw fit to leash him, a fate I could share, if that's what his vague warning meant. So we now know that Zenobrium is more likely to imprison, torture, and keep us as slaves. I don't think this is a place we want to go. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think my curiosity is there anymore. I let my eyes drift skyward, past the lanterns gently swaying in the breeze, to the Zenobrium faintly visible through the haze. Just one glimpse is all I need, then I can put it all behind me. This time the key goes into my coin purse for safekeeping. It's easy enough to follow the sluggish river that splits Iridia in two. A colossal bridge arches over the dark waters below. I cross as quickly as I can, climbing ever uphill towards the distant tower. Hours later, legs aching, sweat beating on my forehead, I finally find what I'm searching for. The Zenobrium of the Luminous Void. It stands at the highest point of Iridia, surrounded by cold white walls. Well-dressed people stroll down the walkway, paying no attention to the massive tower in the midst. I'm the only one standing before the gates. I crane my neck to up and up until the top of the Zenobrium tower disappears into the clouds overhead. My stomach gives an uneasy lurch. Though far grander than the humble shrine of my youth, the cenobrium gives the same impression of being a gilded birdcage. Oh, it does look like a birdcage a little bit. Knocking seems like a terrible idea, but I don't see any other way of making my presence known. I'm halfway up the steps when something moves in my visual vision. A shadowy figure crouches beneath one of the white walls. They reach out and tug on a vine as if testing its strength. Oi, you there. The shadow vanishes as quickly as I spot it, and the gaunt-faced man in a crisp charcoal uniform matches up the steps towards me. Another tourist. Get out of here once you're done gawking. A dismissive wave accompanies his equally dismissive words, and he turns on his heels without even waiting for an answer from me. I look back at where I saw the intruder, but there's nothing, just the leaves blowing gently in a cool breeze. I step away from the gates, hopelessness washing over me. Hello? A whisper, so close I can feel the warm brush of breath on my skin. I instinctively jerk away, but there's no one beside me. Halfway down the staircase, I spot a woman swaying in the breeze. She's gaunt as a rail, her blouse moth-eaten. I'm unable to take my eyes off her, not because of the way she smiles a little too widely or the way her tousled braids look unbrushed for days, but because her eyes shine a brilliant and natural crimson. I'm both entranced and unsettled by their subtle glow. These days, you'd need a miracle to get in there. I'm unsure how to respond, or if I even should. Her gaze is uncomfortably fixed on me, heavy as lead. Say nothing. After the experience I had, I'm not too keen on indulging strangers with small talk. Despite my silence, she maintains an unflinching stare and smile. Lucky for you, I have a miracle for free. Whatever she's selling, I'm not interested. My words come out in a tired breath. No thanks. I start down the stairs, but she abruptly steps into my path. She turns her back to me, and before I can react, she slips her fingers under the lacing of her collar, stripping out of her blouse in broad daylight. What are you As worn fabric reveals bare skin, my panic is soothed by cold horror. A misshapen, sunken scar curves into the woman's body. Pitted, gnarled skin snakes down her shoulder, blooming from a gaping hole in the back of her neck. A shuddering breath escapes me. Whatever disease this woman has eaten away at her from the inside out, how is she able to move or breathe? It's impossible. She shouldn't be alive, and yet the power to cure anything can be yours too. The power of the sea spring. I don't think I want whatever this power is, lady. The woman slides back into her blouse and deftly laces it up. If I've caught your interest, then follow me. It's only a short walk away. Without another glance, she leisurely strolls down the cenobrium stairs, loose braids bobbing behind her. The edge of her scar peeks out from under her collar. I stand there, wordlessly, until I manage to regain my bearings. It's a twisted miracle, but a miracle nonetheless. This could be the stupidest decision in my life, but what choice do I have? I take a final look at the cenobrium shut gates, then follow her down the steps. No, don't. There has to be other miracles that we can do. I don't trust some spring that obviously is keeping this woman alive. We descend from the higher streets, leaving behind their gilded descents as we cross the river. The wet, desolate district feels more familiar to me. But the crimson-eyed woman takes me further, then further still, until I've met with an all too familiar sight. My gut lurches when I face the open horizon. The city's outskirts are hardly recognizable in daylight, and probably safer for it, but venturing beyond Iridia's walls is a gamble I wasn't prepared to take so soon. Keep going straight, and the sea spring will reveal itself to you. I bark out a bitter laugh, loud and involuntarily. Yeah, I'd rather not. Are you kidding me? It's not safe out there. You're as safe inside the city as outside of it. Truthfully, the territory before you is the safest of all. What you mean, territory? This region belongs to Ace? Most people know him as a gang leader, but he's much more than that. I squint against the empty wastelands. Only a fool or someone with nothing to lose would leave the city. Apparently, I'm both. But if the sea spring cured her, I need to see what it can do for me. Hello. You want pets again? I set off into the wastes. Over my shoulder, the woman calls after me. Good luck, Alice. I hope we meet again. Oh, I don't like that. We did not give her our name. My heart pounds with each step I take from civilization. It doesn't take me long to realize it's not the only heartbeat I hear. Like a nagging thought at the back of my mind, I can sense another pulse thrumming through the earth beneath my feet. I feel this presence before, when I first stepped out of Curtis's clinic, a living dread coursing beneath the city, only this time I'm getting closer to it. For what seems like an eternity, I force each foot forward, one step, then another, until a realization hits me. I never told the woman my name. Alice. Something pierces the horizon ahead of me. A building nestled into the tall cliffside, but so startlingly out of place it might as well be a hallucination. It drips with extravagance and honeyed mahogany. An ornate jewel of architecture. A row of dark silhouettes stands out in the horizon trees, I think, until I'm close enough to realize that what I mistook for branches were spikes and jittering tendrils, soulless. Several of them watch me in the distance like statues. I don't think, I just run, exploding into a messy sprint. I push my legs as fast as they'll take me towards the decorative building. Flashes of last night chase me. The gashes of blood and scream of death. The smell of burning flesh and sour bile. I can't go through that again. I won't. The next thing I know, I'm dashing up wooden stairs and crashing through the towering double doors. I gasp for air, my lungs burning from exertion. I'm desperate to be safe, but when I process my surrounding, we're in some type of temple, It's more hellscape than sanctuary. Blood flows all around me, overwhelming my senses, my vision with a lurid, unholy red. Instinctively, my hand leaps to my mouth, but the rotten stench of blood never comes. Instead, a smoky scent hangs in the air, sharp and spiced. I swallow thickly, convincing myself that it's not as gruesome as it appears. This has to be the sea spring, the place that grants miracles. I pull my eyes away from the pool. I take in the rest of my environment. Tall pillars flank me, blanketed in written notes. Sitting pillows scatter the floor. A rustic kettle sits nearby. Someone must live here, despite how eerily empty it is. Well, we're already here. We might as well, I guess, call out. Hello? Anyone here? My voice echoes across the cavern without response. I approach the paper-covered pillars. Maybe something here can tell me more. I reach for the topmost. I reach for a note that's higher up. It reads, "No one will read this, but it's not for anyone else. This is evident I exist in this rotten, grim world. Even so, I wish I could have stayed longer. The bog girl will be lonely without me. I should have told her how The rest is scratched out. I wonder who wrote this. Before I can ponder it further, a sharp chill runs down my spine. Something's watching me. I quickly set the note back, my eyes darting around the wooden deck, but it's still empty, vacant. Finally, I look towards the sea spring. That stillness hides something deeper. Something's wrong. Something familiar. It's watching me. Hey. I spin around and come face to face with a pack of soulless. They chitter and growl, tendrils and spikes flaring threateningly. All different sizes and species all begin sharing one identical trait, glowing crimson eyes. I try to back away, but my heels titter over the sea spring. I'm cornered. Watch your step. It's deeper than it looks. That voice again. At the sound of it, the soulless freeze, their snarls quieting. I search for the voice's source and find it above me, lounging in the rafters. You look lost, little Spiro. His gaze is a violent crimson, one that sears through me, leaving me feeling raw and exposed. They're the same eyes I've seen over and over. First, from the scarred woman, now with the soulless circling me, all bound by the sea spring's blood red. In the shroud of darkness behind him, sharp like massive tendrils twist and coil around the wooden beam. I can't focus. The soulless growl ring in my ear. They're not advancing, but that could change at any second. Panic raises in my throat as I stagger to track them. Hey! Eyes on me. My stomach rolls as I tear my eyes away from the soulless. Don't ignore someone who's talking to you. It's not polite. For a moment, anger knocks my fear aside. Who is this bastard? Considering it looks like he has some type of probably some type of sealing bracelet on. I don't think you can just leave. I'm distracted. I'm kind of distracted by the soulless about to maul me, only on my command. I scan the soulless again. They really aren't attacking, posturing more than anything else. You tamed them? Power of the sea spring. They're hungry, so they might bite. You could give me a reason to stop them. How about I didn't do anything wrong? Trespassing? And that's punishable by death? It gives me a non-committal shrug. I called out earlier to see if anyone was here. Were we supposed to play hide and seek? Didn't hear you. My voice... I just noticed his name is Bastard. Everyone else had like question marks for their name. No, they're like, he's already a bastard. That's the name we're gonna give him from the get-go until he'll probably give us his actual name. Go lay back down. I just needed a pillow. The floor is hard. My voice stops in my throat. This man's terse coolness is both infuriating and terrifying. I wreck my brain for a way to diffuse the situation. I need help, or tell me what you want. Probably tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. I'm not in the mood for guessing games. Your hands. Alarm jolts through me. I hide my hands under my cloak. Show me. Why? Won't ask twice. With a sharp huff, I reluctantly hold out my bandaged hands. Are you getting off on this? Unwrap them. Heat rushes to my face and fire on my tongue. I should give him a piece of my mind, but not when his solace are one can't a man from ripping me to shreds. Yet no matter how much I will myself to move, my body is frozen in place. I stand there for a long, agonizing minute. My hands are trembling when I finally raise them. I know the skin beneath the wrapping too well, the hideous, unnatural flaw I've grown to despise. I grip the edge of the bandages. Stop. With a weary sigh, the man slides off the beam and lands with a thud that shakes the panels underfoot. He's a monster with an imposing figure that towers over me. I can't tell how tall he was before, but he's big. Illuminated by lantern light, his features are stronger, sharper. Subtle clicks of metal accompany each of his footsteps. The closer he gets to me, the faster my heart hitches. What does he want? Is he going to kill me? I step backwards. I find nothing to set my foot on. I've forgotten my back was to the C-spring. I fell right into the warm hand, right before a warm hand catches my lower back. Now that the cat does not want me on the floor anymore, I can sit in the chair again. I hover above the C-spring. The scent of smoke and leather envelop me. Blazing crimson eyes bore into mine. Told you to watch your step. I'm too stunned to muster a response. Like I weigh nothing, he guides me back to solid ground and steps back. Following a subtle gesture of fingers, the soulless around us disperse and relax. The shift in their demeanor is so abrupt it gives me whiplash. The enormous tentacles are no longer in the rafters, though now I doubt I even saw them. Either way, I exhale a breath of relief. Thanks. As forced on me as he was before, the monster pays no attention to me now. He kicks some seating pillows out of the walkway, checks the contents of the kettle with a scowl. The sudden disregard is almost insulting. So, that's it? I'm not a threat anymore? Never were one. Then why did you threaten me? People get honest when they're afraid. In other words, he was messing with me. I drag a hand over my face, exhausted by the fact that this is the second time a monster has provoked me today. You're Ace, aren't you? Depends who's asking. One of your friends told me this is your territory. She also said you were a gang leader, but there's no one else here. I thought there'd be more people. Ace picks up the kettle and walks to the edge of the sea spring, then dumps out the contents into the endless red. Gang took a walk. His pleasant smile stretches across his face, ear to ear. Then in an instant, it drops. I get the sense I shouldn't ask about his gang again. What do you need the sea spring's power for? Depends. Can it cure a curse? Probably. You mean you don't know? Nope. He shakes out the empty kettle and starts collecting stray cups, tidying up. My frustration builds. I narrow my eyes at him in questioning glare. When he notices, he returns it with an amused smirk. Are you being irritating on purpose? Listen, Sparrow, the sea spring can cure anything. Nothing's stopping you from trying it out yourself. What do I have to do? Drink. I have to drink from the sea spring. My eyes glide to the blood-like pool beside us. The idea of ingesting the strange liquid makes my gut churn. Well, he just poured whatever was in the kettle into it too. So it's not just this weird, like, blood red liquid. It's probably other gunk he's thrown in too. Is there a price? Always. Ace taps his temple with a finger. You lost it a bit. That's it. Might have already beaten it to the punch. My humor earns me a amused fang grin. This is a little different. When you drink from the sea spring, you forget who you are. Your mind combines with everyone who ever drank before. Humans, monsters, soulless. One big happy family in your head. That would be terrible. Having a hive mind would be just the worst thing. My blood ran cold. I've heard of these before. Group minds. My attendant used to tell me that my power granted people access to a higher plane of understanding. A group mind of my own making. All lies. But something tells me this is real. Even if one thing doesn't add up. Your eyes are red too, but you obviously haven't forgotten who you are. But before I can finish my sentence, Ace strides past me towards the entrance. Time's up. Let's finish this later. Wait, already? You barely told me anything. Came on a bad day. I got somewhere to be. There are still so many questions burning on the tip of my tongue, but my frustration spills before any of them. I was told to come here for help, but instead I get threatened and kicked out. You're joking, right? Watch your tone. I'm nice, but you don't want to ruin the host's mood. My skin prickles. The feeling of being watched washes over me again. My eyes start back to the sea spring. A lone ripple dances on the quiet surface. I take Ace's advice and clasp my mouth shut. Ace approaches a nearby soulless, a lanky, dog-like one with 6 legs and a crowd of tendrils. Several sets of crimson eyes adorn its side. Its forked tail wags rapidly when Ace squats beside it. He runs his fingers through the tendrils, scratching its chin and patting its head. So he's a dog person. A gentle smile plays across Ace's lips. The affection he holds for the soul is painfully clear. I dip my eyes away, my stomach fluttering at the tender sight. It's getting dark out, so this pretty girl will guide you back. Following a short whistle from Ace's lips, it trots over to the entrance obediently, tail wagging. I watch the soulless wearily. pretty is not a word I would use to describe it. The idea of it protecting me sounds absurd. If I decide to drink, how should I find you? Find someone with eyes like mine. They'll point you in the right direction. But think it over. Once you drink, you can't go back. It's a lot to process, but I give a small nod. At least I know I have another option for a cure, as disturbing as it may be. I follow the soulless at a measured distance and watch it nudge the giant doors open with ease. When I'm about to cross the threshold, I sneak one last glance behind me. My heart skips when I meet Aes's eyes. I'm about to snap my head away, but he just flashes me an easy smile. Till next time, Sparrow. I'll buy you a drink for scaring you. I don't trust myself to do anything but respond with another curt nod. Outside, more crimson-eyed soulless scurry about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, roll around in the bog's mud. They pay no attention to me as the dog-like one escorts me away. It's an uneventful trip. Sometimes the soulless look over its shoulder at me to make sure I'm still following. Dusk darkens the sky by the time we reach the city. I can't sense that massive heartbeat anymore. Maybe it was all in my head. The soulless sit and look at me expectantly with familiar crimson eyes. Let's give it a pat. As nervous as I am, I carefully glide my fingers through the soulless's tendrils and scratch beneath its chin, just like Aes did. It pushes into my palm in response, grumbling with a sound akin to a purr. The bright vibrations were soothing, almost healing my fatigue. When it's satisfied, the soulless spins around and scampers back in the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. It's barely my first day in Iridia, and I've already encountered so many things I thought were impossible. Tame and soulless being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. Nightfall creeps across the streets of Iridia, the city, a labyrinth. Even in daytime, has become a warren of treacherous alleyways. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city abandoned. I make my way through the winding streets, doing my best to keep my bearings towards the west. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I strain my ears, but everything is still. Is the silence playing tricks on me? Probably not. Something's probably wrong. The fine hairs on the back of my neck prickle. A frisson of discomfort running down my spine. Something is wrong. My eyes dart from one side of the street to the other, searching for movement, but the shadows are as deep and dark as pools of ink. I see nothing. I can't stay here. I need to reach a busier part of the city. Drawing my cloak tighter around my body, I hurry on my way. Though I keep my eyes sharp and listen intently, there's only the sounds of my own footsteps. As the moments pass and nothing happens, I begin to wonder, maybe I really did imagine those noises. I turn the next corner, and my thoughts come to a screeching halt. My head spins, the world blurs as adrenaline rushes through my veins. Only one thing is clear amidst the haze. The soulless that attacked the caravan. It crouches over a dark and distant shape, a body. A gnarling of intestines spill from peeled flesh. Blood blood grouts the cobblestones. For a mercy, the soulless is too distracted by its meals to have noticed me. My feet feel as heavy as stone, but I can't just stand here. Holding my breath, I take a step backwards. When the wet, slurping sound doesn't abate, I take another, then another. Then a shard of glass crunches beneath my heel. The world seems to slow to a crawl as the soulless raises its head, blood dripping from its tendrils. Every single one of its bulging eyes fixed unblinkingly on me. It's really here. It came back for me. Run. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkened streets. Behind me, a piercing bay splits the silence, and heavy footfalls pound after me. My heart thunders in my chest. I take turns at random, trying to lose it in the maze of streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing now, a wet, fluttering rasp growing closer and closer. The same claws that severed my arm swipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and skid around a corner. I take 3 running strides before the bottom drops out of my stomach. A wall twice as high as me bars my way, a dead end. When I turn around, the soulless looms in the entry to the alleyway. It's no longer running. It doesn't have to. As it prowls closer, my thoughts race. Some of the buildings lining the streets are lit. There must be people inside. It's a long shot, but try the nearest door. I swirl, grabbing at the handle of the closest door. It turns completely, the hinges creaking as I push, and I feel a flash of hope before a weight hits the door from the other side. It slams shut. The click of a lock turning its grimly final. In this wretched world, few people will stick their necks out to help their own flesh and blood, never mind a stranger. The soulless give a rasping hiss. It's the only warning I get before it lunges at me with a flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slick cobblestones betray me. I fall sprawling over the rough stone. As the soulless looms over me, I scramble away from it until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me for the kill. But the impact never comes. I wearily crack one eye open, then the other, not sure whether I should believe what I'm seeing. A hooded figure crouches in front of me, one bloodied hand outstretched. Moonlight slivers the edges of their stiletto knife. Their face and hands are splattered with blood and the soulless. My eyes dart past my unexpected rescuer to the misshapen form behind them. The soulless' many eyes, once restless and vibrant, now dull and waxy. A red pool spreads slowly from under its body. Numb with shock, I can't help but stare. It's dead. After all the people it's killed, after nearly killing me twice, I can hardly believe it. Well, I gingerly take the offered hand. The stranger's gaze dips to my bandages. Pale lips part, on the brink of a question, then closes again. With a strange strength belaying their slight frame, they pull me to my feet. Something about them is strange, unlike any human or monster I've ever met. I cannot quite place my finger on why. I wonder if they're like us, a mixture of both. As soon as I'm on my own 2 feet again, they pull away from me and start wiping the blood from their face and hands. Stay there. They turn away from me stiffly, leaning over the soulless's gangly body. With their back towards me, I realized that I saw their hooded silhouette in the cenobrium. You're shorter than I thought. The first two options, okay, great. And then you're shorter than I thought. You were at the cenobrium. I've seen you before. You were at the cenobrium earlier, weren't you? They cast a weary look at me. So what if I was? Their harsh response takes me aback. Before I can formulate a response, they continue. What were you thinking traveling alone at night? This is far from the worst thing I've hunted. This is far from the worst thing hunting Lowtown. I can't make heads or tails of them. First, they save me, and now they scold me? Lesson learned. I could do without a lecture, though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. Their attention slides back to the soulless corpse. They examine it with an incurable expression. I clear my throat to fill the silence. I'm Alice. Min? We're saying Min. Suddenly, Min tenses. Their blade flashes as they drive it into the back of the soulless's neck. The soulless thrashes once, letting out a rasping hiss as the air leaves its lungs. Min leans on the blade, driving it deeper and deeper until there's a sickening crunch, and the creature goes limp. My heart thuds in my chest. It must have been clinging to life by a thread. Min straightens up, withdrawing the blade in a single smooth motion. Better to put wretched things like this out of their misery. They calmly clean the blood from their knife. I swallow, my eyes still glued to the cooling corpse. Why is a soulless inside the city? Min looks at me, eyes searching, before realization dawns. You're new here. There's no walls around the city. Soulless come and go as they please until someone is contacted to stop them. You have a few minutes? Then I'll feed you. The cenobrium patrols don't bother to protect Lowtown, not anymore. Let me guess, you're not a fan of the cenobrium? I wouldn't go that far. Their brow abruptly furrows, and they sheathe their knife, motioning for me to follow them. It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I don't want to stay lost in the city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, then why are you helping me? I came for the bounty on that soulless, and you were in the way. Not killing you isn't the same as helping you. Don't count on being so lucky again, or you'll be dead by sunrise. Their answer is strangely harsh. I kind of like them, though. Neither of these answers are good. I just need to find my lodgings. I hold my hands up, trying to forestall any more snappy comments. All right, I get it. I'd love to get out of your way, but I'm sort of lost. I just need some directions back to my lodgings. What makes you think I'll help you? You've already helped me once tonight. Why not a second time? That seems to catch them off guard. Their brows knits, and they look away, scowling. How troublesome. Alice? I turn, surprised by the voice. Curtis walks down the street towards us. His white and gold clothing is pristine, despite the grim of the city. Hello, Min. I see that Solus was your work. Min shrugs. There's a familiarity to the way they regard each other. Both of these answers are also dumb. Probably you know them, Chris. Min is a freelancer who has done a few errands for me. They are quite reliable. Unreliable freelancers don't eat. Alice needs to get back to wherever they're staying before they wander into the jaws of another soulless. It is late. Were you able to find a place to stay, Alice? I'm staying at the Wet Wick. Wet Wick. Both their faces fall. I see. Would you like a guide? It might be preferable to wandering about alleyways. That would be nice. Min clicks their tongue and sighs, sounding mighty put out. Going to the Amirlius district? That gaudy cesspit? Come, this way. Despite Min's clear distaste, when Curtis leads me down the street, they keep pace with us. Catching my curious glance, Min's eyes narrow. It's not safe this late. I don't care about you, but Curtis is the only doctor worth a damn in this place. Are you like this with everyone? The deadpan look Min gives me is answer enough. I can catch Curtis's hiding a slight smile. I suppress a sigh and resign myself to having a grumpy shadow all the way back to the Wet Wick. The route Curtis takes is completely different from my slow meandering earlier this morning. In no time at all, he cuts through the darkened streets and twisted alleyways. It seems like half the city has poured into the Muralus district's colorful streets, laughter, clinking glasses, and music assaulting my ears from every direction. Yet the most noise still comes from the Wet Wick. Its doors hang wide open, lanterns lit. Here we are. He moves towards the door, and Min lets out an audible huff. Don't tell me you're going in. I have some quick business with Lander. Fine. He still owes me from yesterday's work. They drag their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the tavern. As soon as the doors open, a wave of sticky heat rolls over me. In the hours since I left, the wick has grown suffocatingly crowded. Kira stands out, easily a head taller than most. Even so, I nearly lost sight of him amidst the sea of swarming bodies. Pardon me. The crowd parts as though answering his quest. Curious glance over his shoulder at Min and me before gliding through. How can anyone breathe in here? Min follows Curious at a clipped pace. Lander is right where I left him. Although he's traded places with the bartender, he holds a pair of shot glasses filled to the brim with luminous green liquid. And now for the final touch. A flash of magic paints the glasses white with frost. You're never gonna guess what's in these. Lander slides the glasses across the bar, and I get my third and fourth shock of the evening in a rapid succession. Ace leads against the bar, an elbow propped on the counter. He catches the glass and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The contents magically congeal, still firmly in place. I don't know if I would want my drink to just start congealing like that. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already. Ver, perched on the bar counter beside Aes, takes a single look at the shot glass and shakes his head. What have we here? A bucket full of boogers? Lander's nose treasure? You've eaten worse? Ver's lips twitch and his ears flatten when Aes offers him a glass. He turns his cheek with a sniff, and Aes snickers. Coward. Don't tell me you're actually. In one fluid motion, Aes throws back his head and downs the shot. drinking that. A dark look crosses Aes's face. It's chewy. What were you expecting? It's congealed. It's not gonna magically become a liquid again. Well, it might, but like, considering you've already tipped it over and it congealed, I doubt it's gonna magically become liquid when you throw it into your mouth. Chewy. Wait, let me try again. Behind him, Min grumbles. I told you this place was a nest of degenerates. If it isn't Curran and Min. At the sound of Lander's voice, Min's pale eyes grow wide. They look ready to bolt until Curious sets a hand on their shoulder. I promise this won't take long. Min's eyes dark from Curious's hands to his face, then softens. Fine, you first. While they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All of these people I met today have known each other. Well, I would hope they know each other. It doesn't seem like that big of a town. And we live in the underground part of city, pretty much. It would be odd if they didn't know each other. Good evening, Lander. Aes. Another drinking competition, I presume? I know, I was hoping to finish this before I had to feed you, though. I'll be back. Yeah, let's go get your food. Go. Okay, I am back. Hopefully this does not go on much longer. This is a really long demo. Oh, is it evening on already? Could have sworn it was earlier. Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. Nothing to be afraid of. Chris acknowledges Lander and Aes with the slightest nod, ignoring Ver entirely. Not that Ver seems to mind. He tilts his head, and an impish smile curves his lips when he spots Min, looming silently behind Curris. I almost didn't see you there, Min. Looking for your booster seat. How short is he? Min pushes back their hood. They level Ver with a cool look. I thought Aes wasn't allowed to bring his pets in here. Ver's tail gives an angry twitch. Oh, Min is. Min is very short. I was expecting Chris to be slightly taller, unless Lander is standing on his tiptoes. At the first sight, At the first sign of impending sight, Lander vaults clear over the counter. He slides in between Aeus and Curtis. Now, let's try and keep the peace. It's not every day the esteemed doctor takes us up on a drink. His arm sneaks around Curtis's shoulder. You are finally taking me up on that drink, right, Curtis? I am afraid not. We were merely escorting Alice back to their lodgings. Curtis gestures to my direction, and my stomach sinks. I reluctantly step into the light. As soon as he sees me, Linder's face brightens. Alice, it's been too long, everyone. This is Alice. They're new to Iridia. I feel 5 pairs of eyes fixed onto me, and suddenly the bar feels suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. Hi again. Hi everyone. Again? What, you've met everyone already? Aes and Ver level me with a subtle, amused expression. Ver's tail gives a lazy wave. We did, not that long ago either. I'm starting to suspect they're stalking me. He looks far too pleased with himself when I roll my eyes. This calls for drinks. What does everyone want? In an instant, all eyes turn to Lander, freeing me from the burden of attention. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk amongst themselves feels surreal. But for the first time since I undertook the journey to Iridia, I feel a faint glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. The low, pleasant rumble of Lander's laughter pulls me from my restless thoughts. Ha! Color me surprised. You make friends fast, Alice. I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances? A wise man once said that acquaintances are merely friends that haven't shared a drink with yet. A wise man, you said that here, last week. I can hear Min's lips curl with distaste from across the bar. Lander clears his throat and continues, unperturbed. Let's toast to Alice's health. Care to join in, Doctor? Curtis politely declines with a wave of his hand. How about you, Min? No. And you? No. A resounding pop pierces the din of the bar. We all turn in the direction of the noise. Ver looks almost bashful as he accepts an overflowing flute from the bartender, poured from a bottle so old its label has been worn blank. They sure serve champagne here? Since when? Ver pauses in the middle of licking the champagne foam from his fingers with a coy smile. You don't mind, do you? In a transformation as impressive as a magic trick, the current concern on Lender's face vanishes. He laughs softly. No, be my guest. I know you got expensive taste. Then he shoots the bartender a frantic look. Unperturbed or uninterested in his company, Ace cants his head at me, a light smile on his lips. How about you, Sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink earlier. No, my treat. Ace regards Lander over the lip of his glass. In the dim light, the glint in his crimson eyes look downright dangerous. What'll it be, Alice? Water is fine. Allow me. Lander pushes away from the counter to go flag down the bartender, leaving me with Curtis and more distantly Min. I'm not the least bit surprised that neither have bothered ordering anything. They both seem ready to leave at a moment's notice. Water is a wise choice. Is it your doctor's duty to encourage sobriety? But Curris shakes his head with a pleasant smile. The drinks here are notoriously watered down, most likely to cut costs, but it only encourages the patrons to overindulge. Min looks up from adjusting the laces of one of their bracers. The only reason anyone bothers coming in here is for cheap rooms and cheaper drinks. Perfect conditions for terrible mistakes. It almost sounds like you're speaking from experience. Their pale face reddens, and they look away scowling. Lender returns with a glass of water that I accept with a murmured thanks. He clasps, drawing the attention of the group. All right, everyone, let's toast. May Alice stay in Iridia be full of bright adventures and discoveries. Cheers. Lender, Aes, and Ver raises their glasses in unison. Min only crosses their arms, and Curtis watches with polite indifference. The water is bitter, cold, and tastes faintly metallic, but I savor it all the same. Gradually, the din of the crowded bar fades to low murmurs. I find myself relaxing for what feels like the first time in years. Aren't you the popular one, Alice? I'm guessing you met Curtis first. It would be more accurate to say I found them. He saved my life. I merely performed my duties as a doctor. Although, I must admit, I was confused when I woke up missing my clothes. Lander makes a choked noise. Somewhere behind him, Min says, "It's not what you think. Alice was in grave condition. I could hardly treat such injuries through tattered clothes." The silence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Curtis's disappointment, and catch Ver snickering behind his hand. That's my cue to change the topic. That's your fault for bringing it up in the first place. Curtis isn't the only one who saved me today. Don't you listen? I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's Min for you. Lander reaches for Min, but they duck under his arm with practiced ease, without so much as looking his way. As reliable as they are moody. You're the one to talk, considering you neglected to warn them to stay off the streets at night. Oh, I might have gotten a little distracted. Min's only response is a short breath. At any rate, I never got the chance to thank you, Min. Don't. The less soulless alive, the better. Come in the room. Stop it. Thank you. For a heartbeat, Min's eyes flick towards Aes, and their lips twist. Aes is too busy nodding along to Ver's enthusiastic pantomime of stabbing to notice, lost, no doubt, in... What do you think you're doing? Stop that. Go away. Yeah, you think you can be cute? No, go. In an enthralling discussion. I've had enough of this. Let's go. Min and Kerr share a brief look. Then the doctor speaks up. Very well, but there is something I must discuss with Lander, if you'll excuse us, Alice. And just like that, the three of them depart, leaving me alone to sip my water in silence. Or so I thought, until I hear a voice so soft and low it practically a purr. Lost your tour guide? I turn to find crimson and pink eyes trained on me. It's not lost on me that they chose the instant the others left to strike. Just my luck. I had to be abandoned with the two most irritating people I've met all day. Monsters or not, there's no telling what I'll do if either of them push me again. Don't tell me Lander already snuck off to get his knob slobbered out back. He's got business with Curris and Min. 2-on-1 business, isn't he lucky? I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Varg has grown noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped on the back of his hand. His ears twitch whenever a hiccup shakes his shoulders. Why are you so far away? Come join us. He pats the empty bar stool beside Aya's, but I hesitate. The smile Verg wears is sweet and distinctively shy, and with drinks in the mix, I dread how he and Ayas will mess with me next. We don't bite. I'm not sure about that. Just hours ago, he tried to rob me, and you threatened me. Me? Steele, surely you must be mistaken. You sure it was me? Yes, it was you. And then you had the galls to kick me out just so you could go drinking. He gives another one of his shrugs. I was lonely. A simpler answer than I expected, but I guess I can't fault him for that. Verg suddenly slumps forward. Gosmer sleeves pooling where he rests his elbows on his knees. Ayas sets a hand on Verg's waist, narrowly preventing him from tipping off the counter. How about we start fresh? Begin with proper introductions, get off on the right foot and whatnot. I'll start. The names were Hunter Extraordinaire. Verg's right hand flutters to his chest and he bows his head, flinching when hair falls into his eyes. Ace doesn't say anything, but I suppose it's my turn now. I'm Alice. Verg considers me for a long moment, his tail idly swinging behind him. Then he knocks back the rest of his champagne. It's a pleasure to formally meet you, Alice. He says my name slowly and deliberately, savoring every syllable. A tingle jumps down my spine. I quickly turn my gaze away. Aya smirks at my reaction over the rim of his glass. Is something funny? Nope. I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goading me into another ridiculous game. While their sharp cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. It must be exhaustion. A flash of white over Ayas' shoulder catches my eye. Across the bar, Chris heads for the door. I can't see Lender or Min, but it feels wrong to let him leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Verg hums and wags his fingers at me as I leave. I slip through the crowd, careful not to touch anyone, just as I am nearing Curris. Gah! I stagger, shoulder checked by a man with a neck thicker than both my thighs. He stares down at me, nostrils flaring. Out of my way. I mutter while massaging my throbbing elbow. The roughneck wheels around, shoving a bloodhound out of the way so he can close in on me. What did you say? He shoves me backwards, sending me stumbling to the sticky floor. I'm fine, but my heart leaps into my throat when I see the roughneck bearing down on me. You trying to start something here? The roughneck freezes, his fist cocked back. A group of bloodhounds called by the commotion circle him, seizing him up. For what feels like an agonizing long moment, the roughneck looks at me to the bloodhounds. Finally, he sniffs and spits on the floor next to me. The lob narrowly misses my cheek. Screw it. Too many freaks in this circus tonight. He turns his back to me and comes face to face with Aes. A dangerous smile spreads across his face. You'll do. What happens next is a blur. Aes' fist crashes into the roughneck's jaw, causing an eruption of gasps, shouts, and even a cheer around us. I scrambled to my feet right as the frantic crowd swarms around me, cutting off my sight of everything and everyone. Through the ruckus, I hear Lunder shouting. Hey, Aes, take it outside. Ignore them, everyone. Look, drinks on me. With those 4 words, the wick erupts into hoots and hollers. The ring around me disperses as bloodhounds and onlookers rush towards the bar. Through the thinning crowd, I catch a glimpse of familiar faces. Aes vanishes out the back, dragging the roughneck behind him. Chris lingers near the door, searching, I suspect, for any wounded before he departs. Min draws their hood up tight as they slip out the side door, while Verg leans over the countertop to swipe a glass of wine from behind the bar. And Lander sat at the opposite end of the bar, gestures dramatically and apologetically at the bartender. In the space of a heartbeat, I realize that there's no telling when or if I'll see any of them again. Whoever I pursue may be the last person I get to speak to tonight. I follow. God. Hopefully this is the end. I'm already 3 hours in. Okay, who do we want to talk to? So far, I kind of like everyone except Aes. I don't care for him. At least, I don't care for him right now. We didn't really get on a good foot with Min, so probably won't chase after them. We were actually going to say something to Curris, so we'll go follow Curris. Hot on Curris's heels, I squeeze my way out of the bar. Of everyone I've met, he seems the most likely to help me, and the least likely to murder me on a whim. Earlier this morning, he said I could go to the clinic for help whenever I do not... You need to stop. We're hopefully almost done, kitty. Time to see if that promise was actually worth anything. I breathe a sigh of relief once I'm free of the crowded bar. Curris, hearing me, turns my way. Alice, you seem upset. I take it the Marilys district is not to your liking. If nothing else, it's widely different from the secluded temple where I spent most of my days. That's not why I stepped out. You are not in need of treatment after that fall, are you? I scowl up at him, and he holds out his hands in a mollifying gesture. I apologize, Alice. Please continue. About time. Someone cuts right across me towards Curtis, stopping us both in the middle of the street. Even in the dim pink hue that seems to blanket everything. There's no mistaking the press of white uniform and stiffly starched hat. Another Cenobrium cleric. I hastily step back, making myself as inconspicuous as possible. Can I help you? Nervous onlookers hastily part around Curris and the cleric. The two form an island of white and a sea of tearing colors. Enough. You know why I'm here. Then I hope you find this edifying. Curse reaches into his coat and produces 3 tiny glass vials, bound together by a thick leather cord. A silvery powder shimmers inside. He gently flicks the glass, watching the contents swirl, and extends the vials to the cleric. This is it? They look extremely unimpressed. Appearances can be deceiving. He throws me a glance and a swift smile, but I'm too stunned to respond. Curris was the first to warn me about the Cenobrium. Nobody I met had anything good to say about them, and yet here he is openly dealing with them. I glance between Curris and the cleric, who seems to notice me for the very first time. Good night. They bow to Curris, offering me an extremely perfunctory nod, and disappears into the seething crowd. Alice, is something amiss? What was that about? Lower your voice. It is of little consequence. That's all you have to say. After the earful you gave me about the Cenobrium, you... Shh. Be calm. He holds one finger to his lips, which suddenly curl into a cat-like smile. For now, please join me on a short stroll. Curse's golden eyes twinkle in the low light. He beckons me away from the main thoroughfare, down a side street filled with vendors hawking late-night snacks. Wait. Now powerfully curious in spite of myself, I hurry after Curris. Each of his long, graceful strides is easily 2 of mine. I catch a glimpse of his gleaming white coat disappearing around the corner of the street. The moment I catch up, the delirious scent of freshly baked goods flood my nose. My stomach gives a loud rumble. 1 honey pistachio cookie, please. That sounds just disgusting. Coming right up. Without breaking his swift pace, Curris plucks the sticky confection out of the merchant's hand and offers it to me. The heavenly smell makes my stomach rumble once more. I take a bite without hesitation. Cursus watches me with an indulgent smile, and I notice he hasn't eaten anything for yourself. You're not hungry? You need not concern yourself with me. He stops mid-sentence, his eyes darting back the way we came. The hair sticks up on the back of my neck. I turn just enough to peek over my shoulder, hoping I don't look too suspicious. Sure enough, it's the same cleric who waylaid us in the street, now wearing a thunderous, angry expression. Uh-oh. Well, disappointment can be a learning experience. Glimmers of realization dawn over me as I stare up at him. What exactly was in those vials? Perhaps a rare and potent alchemy catalyst, or some stale fish skin. The two do resemble one another, and it can be hard to tell them apart. Is he serious? I chance another glance at the cleric, who is now trying to elbow their way between the food stalls. A few people make way, but most don't even notice their efforts. The street is far too crowded with hungry patrons. Shall we? Without even waiting for a response from me, he glides swiftly into the crowd once more. You're messing with them. Such impolite behavior. I am astounded you would ever suggest it. Curtis, I must still look incredulous because his smile softens a little. He lifts the hand as if to pat my shoulder, then stops himself. As I said, you have nothing to fear. He ducks into what looks like an abandoned doorway but opens into a small covered market. The stalls here are full of more spices than I ever knew existed. Even taking a short breath makes me sneeze. Curse slows his pace, occasionally pausing to examine the incessant hawkers' wares. Wait. He looks up from a display of livid red leaves, each as long as my forearm. You said I have nothing to fear, but everyone in Iridia seems weary of the Cenobrium. People fear the obvious trappings of power, wealth, force, or a hideously tower. For my part, I find such trappings merely disappointing. The Cenobrium once held great potential. They squandered in decades ago in the pursuit of trinkets, pleasure, and petty tyranny. Their narrow, prosaic interests have rendered them blind to all else that moves. I think that's the most I've heard Curtis say on any topic. You sound like you know them well. Curtis lets out a long, low sigh. You miss little, Alice. For military, it breeds contempt, and I am more familiar with the Cenobrium's cruel methods than I would like. Now I'm getting somewhere. Something beyond vague warnings or swift deflections. I decide to press the point while I have the chance. Familiar how? Curtis stops right in front of a display of pickled fruit, and I nearly run into his back. He steps aside at the last moment. His arm rests gently but firmly on my waist. I tense, but he is careful to avoid my bandaged hands. Our pursuers refuse to take no for an answer. And then again, I thought we lost them again. I thought we lost them in the crowd. I crane my neck to look for the cleric, but Curtis shakes his head. This way. The next street over seems to be home to an high-end brothels. It's full of steep stairways and shadowy passages, perfect for discreet tyrants or losing a persistent tail. Peaked curtains and painted facades sprawl around me like a giant colorful warden. It only takes a few more twists and turns down blind alleys and narrow walkways before I completely turned around. Curtis, however, seems to be following some map in his own mind. He takes each turn with swift confidence, guiding me with the occasional nudge. The gasps between teetering buildings can hardly be called alleys. So narrow, we have to pass through single file. Just a little further. The effortless grace which he moves is almost infuriating. It takes every ounce of concentration I have just to avoid tripping over loose tiles, discarded clothes, or an unidentifiable rubbish. Meanwhile, his long legs almost seem to float over every obstacle. His clothes are still completely pristine despite the soot-covered walls on either side. How does he do it? I'm still trying to puzzle it out when I realize how warm it is, with me practically tripping on his heels. The tiny gasp between us seems to radiate heat, like beating midday sun on the longest day of summer. Stay close. I definitely don't want to get lost here. I'll stay as close to Curtis as I can without actually touching him. I promise I will not lose you. Was I that obvious? Our eyes meet, and despite my best efforts, I find it hard to hold his gaze. Those golden eyes send hot pins and needles racing along my spine. It's not unpleasant, but I've never felt anything like this before. Thank you for indulging me, Alice. I believe we've lost our tale. It's much quieter on the edge of the district, and the dealings in the shadows look shadier. Did you enjoy your impromptu tour? Relief escapes me in a tired laugh. After the day I had, playing keep away from the Cenobrian cleric seems almost natural. I wasn't in moral peril, so that's a nice change of pace. He laughs too, a soft and pleasant chuckle completely at odds with his usual cool demeanor. Are you sure we've lost that cleric? If there is one thing you can count on, it's that the elitism of the Cenobium's finest. They will not design to follow us this far. He sounds confident enough. I'm starting to wonder if we have to make a full circuit of the city to ditch them. A beam of moonlight cuts through the clouds, casting his face into sharp relief. However, I should escort you back to your lodgings. It would be unwise to let you go alone. What about you? Are you staying at the Wetwick? Of course not. Then you're going back to the clinic alone. You just said it was a bad idea. He pauses, stares at me, and then his expression relaxes into a gentle smile. Fear not, Alice. Only the most desperate of foolish would dare lay a hand on me. It sounds insane after 2 near-death soulless encounters, but part of me believes him. The few people who are still out, huddled beneath street lamps or in doorways, desperate to be as close to safety as possible. Curtis, on the other hand, looks more relaxed than I've ever seen him. He's strolling down the middle of the street, bold as if it was broad daylight. Even walking alongside him makes me feel more secure. Warmth, both inside and out. I hang on to the faint spark of hope and screw up my courage. Did you mean it this morning when you said I could come back to you for help? Every word. All his earlier mirth vanishes, replaced by calm force. I don't know what to say to that. I almost expect his offer to be courtesy. An easy way to get me out the door. The fact that he meant it. Why do you ask? I believe I have already made my intentions to help you quite clear. His eyes flick briefly to my arm, the one that he miraculously reattached when he found me. I can almost imagine him counting the neat stitches. I just wanted to make certain. I'm still figuring out who's trustworthy and who's trouble. I see. Iridia does tend to attract extreme individuals, including you. Ah, Alice, I decline to incriminate myself in your eyes. I can recognize a smooth fleet when I hear one, though if he won't talk more about himself, then maybe he'll tell me more about someone else. I decide to ask, oh my god, why is this so long? I was not expecting this. At this point, it's probably going to go for another half hour. I was not expecting a 4-hour demo. Like, how long is the normal game then? We'll ask about probably Min. You men sound like you know each other well. Curtis heaves a long-suffering sigh. I know them better than most, unless, well, than I would like. Like you, Min is a recent arrival. Their time here has been particularly difficult. As much as I would like to help, he trails off, but I know exactly what he's talking about. Min doesn't seem like the sort of person who would accept help easily. Do they always pick fights that are twice their size. I have implored them not to. They rarely listen. Oh, we can ask about everyone. Probably Lender then. Why did you send me to Lender for help? If you knew Iridia better than Lender. The company he keeps can be questionable, but I had confidence in him. Yeah, his bloodhounds seem rough around the edges. Lender has always preferred the company of those like him. Survivors of Lowtown's harsh realities. You must have noticed how they flock to him. I nod. He seems to know every single person in the Wet Wick. And that's a good thing. Lender's closest peers trust him with their lives. I would say that counts for something. How do you know Ver? Curris visually stiffens, and I remember the venom in Ver's voice when he grabbed me. That doctor. It looks like the feeling is very much mutual. Regrettably, Ver is one of my worst patients. How did you cross his path? He stole my room key. You are fortunate that he did nothing else. He is far deadlier than he seems. There is a reason he is not a liability. There is a reason he is not at liberty. A reason for the collar and chain. He seems pretty dodgy to me already. I hesitate, waiting for Curtis to elaborate, but he seems to find even the thought of Ver distasteful. Have you ever been out to see Aes at the sea spring? Once. Only once. Seems like a spring with miraculous powers would interest the doctor. A long silence follows, so long that I'm not sure Curtis heard me. I'm about to repeat myself when he finally speaks in a near whisper. Aes is the rare newcomer who has proven himself immediately worthy of respect. The sea spring is another matter. Hidden depths often contain unwelcome secrets. You could say that about anything around here. A fair point. Nonetheless, I have seen many pertorted wanderers, and the sea spring is unlike any other. Only time will tell what that means. With my curiosity sated for now, I fall silent. I wish Curtis has given me a little more to go on, but he seems almost as tight-lipped about others as he is about himself. By the time we're back at the Wet Wick, the district seems even noisier and more ruckus than before. Drunken patrons overflow into the streets, which reek of spilt wine. How am I supposed to sleep with all this ruckus? I suggest the stiffest drink at the bar. Alternatively, a ball of wax. Very funny. Even with how I am, I'm not sure I'll get a wink of sleep. I'm about to say goodnight to Curtis when someone staggers out of the Westwick right into me. I stumble back, the heels teetering on the edge of the filthy gutter. Alice. The next thing I know, a pair of warm arms catch me around the waist. I find myself staring up at Curtis, pressed against his chest. His grasp loosens, but he doesn't quite let me go. Something shifts in his gaze. His eyes fix on my face, and I feel myself growing hot all over at his intense scrutiny. What does he see in me? What's he looking for? Curtis? My apologies. Even after he moves away, the warmth of his touch lingers through my clothes. I quickly tug my cloak straight, trying to recall my scattered thoughts. Good night. Thank you for everything today. You are most welcome. He turns and slips into the crowd, though I can pick out his pristine white coat with ease. A chilly gasp howls down the street. When did it get so cold out? Choose your fate. Well, we're not choosing anything. At this point, it's not gonna end. I'm hungry. We've been going for 3.5 hours. I don't do this. Okay, what happens if I choose my own fate? It looks like it gives us a little bit of information. So for a chained charlatan, Ver serves as a warning of the dangers posed by the Cenobrium. As cunning as he is curious, Ver finds you fascinating and insists that he can help. But trusting him means entrusting your life to a collared beast with a lethal reputation. Can Ver protect you, or are his honeyed words a trap waiting to snap shut? Lander, the heroic mage. Lander offers you something that should be impossible, a taste of normality free of your curse. As the first person to withstand your touch, he can change your life, but some things are simply too good to be true. Lander promises to help you unravel your curse, but at what cost? Ace, the demon renegade. An intimidating yet laid-back outsider, Ace presides over a sea spring with unnerving powers. He offers you a miracle, but the price means submitting yourself to the horrifying presence of the heart of the spring. Will you gaze into the abyss for answers, even at the risk of losing yourself? God. Curus, the repentant angel. For all his appearance, Curus is a principled doctor of extraordinary skill, but you know little about the man beneath the professional mask, and Curus keeps even his friends at a cool distance. If you uncover his deepest secret, will you like what you find? Min, the cursed outsider. Despite their cold nature and familiarity with violence, Min is just as desperate as you to get into the Cenobrium. You may be able to help each other, but they're keeping as many secrets as you. They claim they're dangerous, but could they be your only chance in getting into the Cenobrium? So it seems like Min's the only, human. We'll just go down the line. Oh, okay, cool. Finally done. Thank you for playing. For more information, visit their website or go follow Red Spring Studios on Twitter and Instagram. I wanted to relook at this photo because I thought when the text box finally disappeared, I was like, wait, Curtis looks like he's kneeling down, and it does. He definitely is taller than everyone else. But well, that's the game, or that's the demo at least. It was stupidly long, but I really enjoyed it. Each character has their own personality, but it still has the mysterious feel to it. Unless it gets darker, it wasn't as dark as I was expecting. But I definitely could see myself getting the full game. I don't know if it would be a game I would play on stream it or anything, but it's definitely a game that sounds good. But anyway, that is 3.5 hours of my life gone. I need to go eat. I am starving over here. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. And I will see you next week when we play Valerie? No. Virica? I don't know. Some other it is another horror game, another demo. Yeah, so that's what we'll play next week's horror game demo. But I will see you all then. Have a good day. Bye.